Hello, everybody. Welcome back to another live with Jill's office. And we've got an amazing episode today, well, live, of a spooky theme because it is Halloween. And we have an expert on today that we are so excited to have on to share some really good information. We have Alex Danner with the Fence and Deck Marketers. We're going to share all of his information, but he's going to give us some amazing information about marketing your business and how to make sure you capture leads. And so we want to welcome Alex to our live. We're so excited to have you.
Yeah, thank you very much for having me on here. I feel like I should have dressed up and wore a costume or something, but
It's totally fine. I mean, we've got a theme going on here, but at Jill's, we have a lot of people dressed up today, but we're going to jump into it and get you to give us some really good advice for our viewers out there, just to share what your business does. So if you want to give a little intro about, your background and tell us about Fence and Deck Marketers.
Sure. Yeah. So my whole background is in, originally it was in software engineering. I was building websites and apps and started building a lot of websites as getting started in business, and quickly realized, it's kind of a one-off thing, where you build a website and then you don't have anything else coming in revenue wise. So
Right.
kind of transitioned that into digital marketing and learned about SEO, ads, that whole gamut there. And kind of started off working with anybody and everybody, every type of industry. I feel like I've worked with most of them. But then listened to smarter and bigger agency owners that said to niche down. And, that's how Fence and Deck Marketers was formed, and had some clients in those industries before and done some fencing work and stuff on my farm. So kind of all worked out, I guess, together there, and decided to go into fencing and decking. And now we offer, still websites, but every type of digital marketing, SEO, Google ads, Facebook ads, social media, I guess some of the more common ones.
Yeah, very cool. Thank you for sharing that. So we're going to hop into some questions, and they're Halloween themed. And so the very first one is, what is the scariest thing that a business owner can experience when it comes to missing a lead in today's fast-paced world?
The scariest thing, I think it's, well, probably the scariest thing is just missing out on the sale and the revenue. But I guess taking it a little bit further, of course, you miss the sale, you miss the revenue from that sale, but a lot of stuff that we do, all the digital marketing, I mean, there's a lot of things that come after that. And depending on your business, there's a lot of things you can do with that one sale to turn into more sales. So, missing the chance at a referral from friends or family, that would scare me.
Yeah.
Especially if they have a pretty big network and, a lot of contractors, fencing and decking, especially if you get somebody that's in a good neighborhood that has a lot of connections, you can lose out on that. Reviews, Google reviews kind of fuel the whole lifeline of your business and ranking on Google. And then if you're knocking on doors, if you're knocking on doors in the neighborhood, you kind of miss out on that opportunity to say like, hey, we're doing your neighbors. Maybe they don't like them and they want to up them. They want to have a better backyard or, than their neighbors, and you kind of miss that opportunity. And then really just, I guess, their contact information. So if you're selling them on additional services, obviously we only do fencing and decking, but I know you guys work with all kinds of contractors. There's all kinds of upsells you can do later. So if you don't have them in your pipeline, you kind of miss out on that too. So not to be too scary, but I feel like that's a lot of opportunities.
Yeah, I think missing a lead definitely is terrifying. But like we had talked before about the anxiety that business owners get when they have to call somebody back. I think the underlying terror is actually missing the lead in the first place, but the emotion that comes with having to catch the lead as well when you're a business owner just kind of all catapults into one huge terrifying feeling of just being a business owner in general. And now you're not focusing on growth. Now you're more scared of all the little things that you could be delegating. And so, I mean, that's one of the things we always try to focus on at Jill's office, is to try to help our clients to capture every single lead and to really automate that process too, so that you don't even have to worry about it anymore.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think me and you might have talked about this on a previous call, but just like, you don't want to pick it up because you're already dealing with a million things and a million problems. So
right.
I'm always pushing answering services or just somebody that you trust that can answer the call, because then you don't have to worry about that anxiety of
Oh yeah. Yeah,
calling.
you end up being an expert at postponing things and just ignoring things sometimes because you're just at max capacity. Yeah, that's true. We have an interesting study too showing that 67% of leads are never followed up on, which is crazy, terrifying. But can you share with like your go-to strategy for making sure that every lead's followed up with and actually nurtured through the whole sales funnel?
Yeah, that's pretty insane that it's that high, that many
Yeah.
people not doing it. I figured it'd be high, but I didn't think it'd be over 50%. But I guess you really just have to have somebody. I mean, the first part of it would be someone that can answer the calls. So like obviously Jill's office, we refer a lot of clients to you guys and you do a really good job. There's a lot of people that don't really know about answering services, or there's just a lot of bad ones out there. Honestly, there's
Mhm.
a lot of ones that are not doing a good job. So it kind of, as an example, I talked to a client that's coming on board just now, and I brought up answering services because I always do if they don't have one, and they were like, answering services, like we had three and they didn't work out, and I asked for more information on it, like elaborate on it, and you can kind of see like they went the cheaper route, they went the route of somebody that I think they picked overseas a little bit too for a couple of them, but I told them like if you have somebody that's good, reputable, that's like doing a good job and um, ideally in the U.S., if it's a U.S. company, that's what you got to have in place to actually capture all those leads from the beginning.
Yes.
So I would say that, and then um, the process internally, nurturing all the leads. We do some of that stuff too, but reaching out to them, texts and emails. After it's over, or after the initial sales over. Kind of keeping them in that funnel, staying top of mind. So if they need something else that you can also provide, you're the first one that comes up.
Yeah, one of the things that we like to focus on too with our clients is to offer our outbound services so that we can actually follow up with leads, because some of our clients are really good at maybe responding to leads, but you don't always get through the very first time. But there's a lot of magic in the follow up too, and just letting leads go and forgetting to follow up, or having a process in place so that it's maybe automated, so you don't have to think about who to call next, is really important in order to keep your business kind of moving forward.
Yeah. So Jill's office already does that. They do the follow ups.
We do. Yeah,
Okay.
we have a couple different options when it comes to outbound that we can explore with clients so that we can make follow-up calls. We have a whole outbound team so that we can follow up with leads, even doing follow-ups after appointments, appointment reminders as well. And so there's a lot of options there too.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. I didn't know that. That's good to keep in mind because that is a
Yeah,
really tough part, especially
right.
like some of these leads, like Facebook ads, if you don't get back to them right away. We talked about that too. I know you have
Mhm.
a service like that, which I've been talking to clients about. But once that initial lead comes out, if they don't pick up, a lot of people just give up on it. I'm sure it's higher than 67% that a second call
Right.
comes out. So
Yeah, and I don't think it's something that's at the front of your mind when you're running a business, like what the follow-up process is to follow up with people
yeah,
after the fact that the jobs are done or that people have been called. And so finding a way to streamline that process and make it automated is really important. Um,
yeah.
Also, speaking of like the marketing landscape, sometimes it can seem like a maze because we're in our Halloween theme here. So, what is one marketing tactic that you think businesses should be using, but often overlook when it comes to capturing and nurturing their leads? What's something that they just aren't doing that is a no-brainer?
I think probably the number one is going to be, I guess it's like kind of twofold, but like doing SEO, search engine optimization, ranking on Google. That kind of combines. You have to have a good website in order to do
Right.
that. So those two combined are probably the number one because 87% of people go to Google when they're looking for some kind of service provider. So they just dominate everything. Yellow pages are gone. Google kind of owns the world almost, but
Mhm.
um, if you're not doing SEO, if you're not being seen on Google, you're missing out on the vast majority of leads. So
Yeah.
I would say that's probably the number one.
Yeah. No, that's awesome. And we also talked about how a lot of businesses just like to bury their potential by sticking to outdated marketing methods. What's one marketing tactic you think businesses should stop doing? What's something that's just totally outdated that, maybe some business owners that have been in business for a really long time just are not moving over to some, more updated methods?
Yeah, that's a good question. And kind of tough, I guess, because I don't even know if Yellow Pages, if they actually still send those. But if you're doing Yellow Pages, like that's got to go if that's your
Right.
primary one. I guess print marketing, it's not all bad. Like home magazines, I see some clients use, and they're okay. I see some good results, but I think like if you're just not doing anything digital, that's for sure a problem. But
Right.
I guess like if it's working, I always say like if you can keep track of the marketing you're doing, like if it's leading to money and you're making money and it's consistent, like likely a good idea to keep doing it. Some might be better than others, but a lot of people ask me about like billboards or radio or TV, and I'm like, I don't really know because we don't do it. I mean, I just kind of know what other clients have told me, and but if
Hmm.
you can measure it and see that it's working, like you could prove anyone wrong, I guess, if you can see that it's making you money. So um,
Yeah. At what point do you usually see business owners coming to you? Like at what stage are they at in business? Are they usually pretty new or a couple years old? And I mean, where are they at in their marketing so far?
yeah, they're typically pretty seasoned. So we don't work with a whole lot of, well, really any startups, just because there's, like the services we offer can be more expensive than it's kind of tough to afford it every month, even though it is an investment, but it can be tough when you're making, 100,000 a year or something like that through the business to,
Mhm.
spend 1,000 or multiple thousands on marketing.
Yeah.
So, and also the amount of leads, the lead flow we can generate, you got to have a system in place. As you guys know at Jill's office, like somebody's got to be answering these calls. So if you're doing all the work, you're answering all the calls, you're doing all the admin, like you're just going to you're going to bottleneck yourself like a million times over.
Right.
So yeah, it's usually, I would say like close to a million or more a year is typically our most consistent client, 750 plus around there usually.
And they're just looking to kind of level up and see how they can, scale their business and get to the next level.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. They are just, I mean, I think the stressful part is like you want to, hire people. I think every business owner has this. You want to
Right.
hire people, but like keep them busy. And if you're not getting work, then you're paying while no
Yeah.
money's coming in. So everyone's always terrified of that, like you should be, because it could
Hmm.
sink your business. So I think that's kind of the big worry that they have.
Okay. And then out of all of the services that you provide, what do you see clients coming to you mostly for? Is it more for, running ads for them, or is it SEO? What do you normally see from clients?
Probably, well, we strangely, we do get a lot of social media. I think because everyone just knows about social media, everyone has Facebook or Instagram.
Uh-huh.
So a lot of people come to us about social media and we do that. But it's usually, I have to talk them out of it and say it's kind of like, well, not talk them out of it, but depending on your business, if you're not doing SEO or Google ads of some sort, like local services or pay-per-click ads, even Facebook ads, like I would recommend doing those before you're posting. Um, so I would say that social media is probably they come to us most, or their website. They just want a new website. But SEO, I wouldn't say. I would say a good amount know about it, but not everybody. It's kind of like
Right.
a lesser known thing. So probably social media or their website.
Okay. Let's hop over to SEO really quick. I know that SEO can be a scary thing for a lot of business owners. They don't understand it. And it can feel like magic sometimes because it can do a lot of good for your business, but business owners don't know where to start and they really should find an expert that knows what they're doing. But what are a few SEO tricks that every business owner should be using to attract the right leads? And how can businesses in the service industry make their SEO strategies just really strong?
Um, I guess like tricks or lesser known ones, because there's a ton that goes into it. But I think most people know about like the basics, like you know or most companies kind of know about the basics, like marketing agencies, like
Mhm.
citations and blog posts. And I mean, those are pretty common ones, I guess, backlinks. But a big one that I always talk about um, is that's really will help you out a lot is if you think about your business name. There's a lot of like generalist companies out there that'll be like ABC Construction, and niching down and like being able to select a specific service has a lot of power behind it. So we are in fencing and decking, but the same goes for any service. If you're in fencing, decking, or HVAC or roofing, if you can add a DBA name and put that main keyword in the name, that's going to help you
Right.
rank a lot better in more areas, and just it's going to lead to more leads. So I'd say that's probably one of my favorite ones. But number this might even be even bigger. Figure out where your office is or where your location is. So if you're in I guess if you're in the middle of nowhere, if you're coming out of your house and you're just like in a town with 300 people or 500 or 1,000 people, if you want to grow your business and like, get to 1 million or more, the best way to do it is going to be moving your location and getting some kind of commercial office in an actual area that has more people, 30,000 or more. I know it can be tough to do, you have to move around your family, but you can also just get a cheap office space, or at least near a major city, because if you're just in the middle of nowhere, there's just nobody there's not gonna be enough people that find your business. So you gotta
Right.
go to where the people are, basically.
Yeah.
So that, and then probably this one's overlooked, I guess, too. When you create your website, have a bunch of service pages on there for all the services that you do and go really deep. So if you're a deck builder, for example, don't just have a page for deck building or deck installation. Think about deck installation, deck repair, deck maintenance, deck staining, deck cleaning, Trex decking. And then for the fencing side, all the different fence types, vinyl, chain link wood, all the industries that whoever's listening, think about like everything that you guys do, and, make pages for those services, because there's going to be the majority of people that'll type in something generic like deck builder or roofing company, whatever. But there's a lot of people that'll type in something more specific. And if you don't have a
Right.
page website for that, then you're basically not going to, it's going to be hard to rank. It's going to be hard to show up. And the last thing I will say, the city pages. So whatever cities you want to do work in, sit down and get clear on that, and then have pages on the websites for that. So if you're in, like I'm in Maryland, in Westminster, and like Baltimore is pretty close by, um, think of all the neighboring cities wherever you do work in, and make a page for that. So, in this case, it would be like deck builder in Baltimore, deck builder in Columbia, Maryland, deck builder in Westminster, Maryland. All of these should have separate pages on there. So when somebody's in that area, their house is there, they can just type in, find me a deck builder in my city. You'll have a separate page for that. Be like, oh, okay. Like these guys, they work in my city. They offer this service. They did these decks. They have these testimonials. Like that's kind of how it works. You check all the boxes, and it seems like you're that specific company for exactly what they need, versus competitors.
Yeah, no, I love that, because I do think that as a business owner, we tend to forget to see things from our client's perspective, from customers' perspective,
Yeah.
homeowners' perspectives, and what are things that they're searching for? What are they looking for? And it's true, when you are looking for a service for your home, you really are trying to find one that services your area. So it
Yeah.
totally makes sense to make sure you're doing a lot to make sure that when someone's looking for something specifically in a certain city, that you do have things that will pop up. So
Yeah.
I really love that, because we tend to just think like, oh, I need to do this one thing, but there's a lot there in the background that, from your customer's perspective, that will help. So I love that.
Yeah. That's a great point too. If you don't mind, just add one thing.
Yeah.
Like whatever like the objections you get, all the complaints, or maybe not complaints, but like they're worried about something happening with your service. Probably, there's something in their head, like with decking and fencing, like destroying their yard or leaving scraps of trash or whatever. So like in the content on the website, if you actually talk about that and kind of address
Right.
those fears, that's just like kind of chipping away at like the objections they could have. And it's just more likely to be the one they want to use versus somebody else.
Yeah. No, I love that too. That's a really big aspect of the book, They Ask You Answer. Have you read that book?
Mm-mm. I don't think
We
so.
should drop it. We should drop it here on the front so people can see it. They Ask You Answer is really good at explaining how to answer every single question or objection, like you said, that your customers would ever have. Like, when you talk about fences, I want to know, like, how long will this material last? Like, as
Yeah.
a homeowner, we've talked about building decks, and we always think that wood is not going to be the best option, but I don't know why exactly. And I have questions about it. And some business owners will be afraid to address specific questions because they think it will turn people away from their business. But in reality, the more questions that you answer, it builds more trust and transparency with your business. So it kind of goes along with what you were saying. Any of those objections and questions that you think your clients have, answer it on your website. Make it really easy for customers to find. And it just creates more loyalty and trust in people. And they will trust you more as a business and want to know more. And so I love that.
Yeah.
Very last question that I wanted you to chime in on is, what is the key to identifying and targeting the perfect client for a service-based business? And how can businesses just make sure they're not wasting time and money marketing to the wrong audience?
Yeah, this kind of ties into what we were just talking about a little bit. Like, whatever you want to market to or the type of jobs you want, like that should be spelled out on the website too. So,
Right.
I'll just use the fence, or I guess the decking example is a good one. A lot of customers are like, we want these big projects that are like 60,000 or more. And if you have a website that just shows like some very like outdated pictures that are, not high quality and they're not even
Small
really,
projects and
yeah, exactly. Then that's what people are going to kind of like think about you. So if you have a website that you're trying to be like a luxury brand and doing something really, really impressive, then take really nice pictures, hire a professional photographer. Don't try to take them yourself unless you're really good at it. Get drone footage, put that on the website. And then the content, like we were talking about, talk to that audience, like kind of what their objections might be. You can go a long ways by just structuring your website towards that specific type of person. And then the ads, that you run to, having more of a luxury side. If you want more basic projects, and put more basic projects in the pictures of your ads. I would say that's probably, it's not a perfect system. Like you're still get, if you have like a luxury brand, you'll probably still get people looking for repairs, even though you said you don't do
right.
repairs, but that'll, help. And actually one last thing, I learned this recently. So if you have contact forms, you can put it in the contact form to say like your minimum pricing. So if you're only want to do 20,000 plus decks, or 5,000 plus fences, or whatever your service is, you can have that being like, what is your project budget, and then put that as the minimum. So they're like, oh, well,
Right.
that's not my budget. So you can kind of, I guess, figure it out from there, hopefully.
Yeah. No, that's a really good option. We've had clients use that option in a couple different ones where they're open to talking to customers that maybe have a smaller budget, because maybe they can convince them to add on more things, or they can just sell to them, So sometimes they'll just ask what budget their range is in, and they'll put ranges on those forms as well. But then, like you were saying, starting at a minimum budget, so it will turn away people that are looking for something really cheap. And there are some forms that I think you can use that it will just sort of reject a person's request if their budget comes way under, what your normal ticket price is. But like you said, the website is a huge thing. I think that there's a lot of things to consider: your messaging, your ads, your website, the way it's built. Does it look professional and luxury? Is that what you're trying to attract, or are you looking for people that are looking for deals and looking for something quick? And then one of the things that I know we experience all the time at Jill's office is when we get calls and we answer for our clients as their actual business. People say all the time that they're so surprised somebody answered the phone, because they've been calling around to get, a quote for a fence or a deck, and nobody's answering the phone. And this company's the first company that has even answered. And most of the time you end up getting the bid and you get the job because they feel more taken care of.
Yeah.
And when you're doing a really big project like that, one of the biggest things is you want to make sure that whoever you're giving your tens, $20,000 to, that they're actually going to communicate and be professional. So not answering the phone is unacceptable when you're looking to spend 20 grand to build something. Then now you're worried that someone's going to run off with your money, or just not listen to you, or get back to you on time.
Yeah.
So that's huge for us too, and our clients do appreciate that very much, and making sure that they don't miss any leads. So
Yeah, that's a good point. Like, how can you
yeah,
trust the person that you reached out to and is like
right.
taking forever to get, literally every step of the process is taking forever? It's like, do I really even want to deal with this person?
Uh-huh.
Probably
Yeah,
not.
it causes frustration, but deep down in a homeowner, I think what it causes is fear.
Yeah.
Fear that they've just lost tons of money they've been saving up for, and that's just a lot of negative emotions tied to your business, and it's going to get you bad reviews. And you could have made things so much better and gotten referrals and had a really smooth process and a customer for life. Like, it doesn't have to be that way.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
so yeah, it was great having you on this live, though, Alex. Is there anything else that you want to share? Anything you're passionate about? comes to marketing for fence and deck business owners?
No, I mean, just kind of to, I guess, Jill's office is credit. I don't know. To me, like just having someone that consistently answers and all these like things that pop in your head when the phone rings that makes you not want to answer or not call somebody back, like all of that can be gone by just having somebody that does it for you. Like all of it's just out the window, and they're probably going to do a good chance they're going to do a better job. And we record all our clients' calls, so I always check to see if they're good leads. So I hear the Jills talking often.
Mhm.
You guys are always very bubbly and great personality. So if you're a grumpy contractor, like get someone that has a little bit more energy, or just you don't want to come across as grumpy to your customers. Get someone that's like more, I guess, fun to talk to. I
Customer
don't know.
service focused. Yeah. Someone who
Yeah,
loves customer service and loves people and loves face to face and like talking,
yeah,
and, and understanding what the customer needs. Yeah.
yeah.
That is a really good point. So if people want to learn more, I know we'll put your information everywhere as well, Alex, so people can find you. But how can people find you? What's the best way to get a hold of you if they want to learn more?
You can go through our website. So it's deckfencemarketers.com, and everything's on the website there. You can find our phone number there. You can give us a call on that as well. So, yeah, if you have any questions, I know you guys work with a lot of contractors, not just deck and fence, but if you have any questions about deck or fence marketing, or if you have some questions about marketing, I can probably refer you to another generalist agency that could help you out. I have a pretty big network there. So happy to refer you to other people that could help you out too.
Great. Thanks so much, Alex. Thanks
All
for
right.
joining us on our live.
Cool.
And for everybody who's watching, we'll see you next time. And just make sure to follow us and follow Alex's page as well for any updates.
Thanks for having me on here.
Happy Halloween.
Yep. Happy Halloween.